Progressive Democrats pressing against the invitation for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to address Congress. They don't want that to happen. They are members of the radical left, and they continue to be loud, speaking out. Congressman Greg Caesar says, I don't think it's a good time for him to be coming. Are we hanging on his opinion? I don't know. Here's another one. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley told Fox, we should not be creating a platform and welcoming an accused war criminal. It doesn't stop there.
Not honor a foreign leader by addressing a joint session of Congress who is currently engaged in creating the worst humanitarian disaster in the modern history of this country.
Not only is there very little purpose to it, but I think it is patently unproductive. I think it's counterproductive right now for him to address Congress, particularly as we continue to try to nail down details on the ceasefire.
Would you consider some sort of protest against his presence, his address to the Congress?
I mean, we'll have to see.
Republican Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa, member of the Armed Services Committee, and if I may, also served as a company commander in Kuwait and Iraq, led 150 Iowa Army National Guardsmen during Operation Iraqi Freedom. And the senator retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Iowa Army National Guard after 23 years of military service. We honor and salute you today and always. Senator, thank you for being with me. Absolutely. Let's talk about the politics first. So Democrats don't want Benjamin Netanyahu to come. And it's been shaky ground with the current president about how much we really do support Israel at times. How important is it that he be allowed to speak to Congress?
Harris, thank you. It is incredibly important that the Prime Minister of Israel be allowed to come address a joint session of Congress. I think these far-left members of Congress have forgotten that on October 7th, we lost over 40 Americans in the attack by Hamas in Israel. We have 8 American souls that are still being held as hostages by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, 5 of whom we believe to still be alive. So it is incredibly important that Benjamin Netanyahu be allowed to come address a joint session of Congress to give us updates on the war in Israel and perhaps provide a little hope for our hostage families as well. I think it's incredibly important that we work together with our closest friend and ally and only democratic country in the Middle East.
What would you say to those members on the Hill, particularly those House members who are radical in their party, about not standing beside Israel at this point? I don't know, you know, we've talked about it many times, changing hearts and minds. It's sometimes a futile effort. But in this instance, these are the hearts and minds of people who've been elected. So what do you do?
Well, those hearts and minds obviously have been influenced by the far left. And I'm struck by the words of Bernie Sanders when he states that Israel is the cause of this humanitarian crisis. No, Senator Sanders, Hamas is the cause of this humanitarian crisis. They are the ones that instigated this war in Israel. Please, American people, let's not forget the cause of this. It is Hamas. It is a terrorist organization backed by one of our closest near-peer adversaries, Iran. So we need to step up. We need to do the right thing and stand by our friend and partner, Israel. Let's not forget the American souls that were lost in Israel on October 7th.
All right, we'll move on. Senator, we've been sharing pictures, live images, President Biden first in Normandy today, along with other world leaders to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion and honor the heroes on that day and beyond. The president spoke earlier.
We have a special obligation. We cannot let what happened here be lost in the silence of the years to come. We must remember it, must honor it, and live it. And we must remember the fact that they were heroes here that day does not absolve us from what we have to do today. Democracy is never guaranteed. Every generation must preserve it, defend it, and fight for it. That's the test of the ages.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, the U.S. has hardly been immune from complacent illusions about a peaceable international community. The Obama and Biden administrations recklessly expanded social and welfare spending while shrinking the military. The emergent isolationist wing of the GOP has blocked a necessary debate over defense by putting all of its deterrent hopes in the braggadocio of Donald Trump. This is a quote: "The best way to honor the memory of the D-Day is to recall the eternal lesson that to preserve the peace, you must prepare for war," end quote. Senator, again, I talked about your service in the military. From that standpoint, if you could talk about where we are with the president, who really spent some extra time today, if you watched his speech on Ukraine, and trying to kind of compare that to the time of D-Day.
I am very grateful for the president's words, but I am extremely concerned that those words don't match action here in the United States. We do need to have a strong military. And when we have folks on the far left that are demanding that equal spending go to domestic programs and social welfare experiments, we are not taking the time to strengthen our military. We certainly need, here in the United States of America, the most lethal fighting force on the face of the planet. And that has not been exhibited during the Biden administration. We do need a strong leader in the White House, and we need those serving in the military at the most senior positions that will continue to inspire generations of future warriors. This is what we need here in the United States. I'm so grateful for the warriors of all of these past eras, and in particular, those that served during World War II. They truly set an example that all Americans should aspire to and hopefully live up to.
Senator, before I let you go, just a quick word, because the president talked all about NATO. What is our relationship right now, and what should it be, our participation with NATO, as you see a press for countries like Ukraine that is already at war, couldn't get in earlier, trying to get in now?
You know, Harris, I am blessed to do a lot of travel and speak with many of these NATO leaders. And anytime I am traveling abroad, what I hear from them is, where is American leadership? And that is civilian leadership here in the United States of America. President Joe Biden has not been present. He has not demonstrated the leadership necessary to continue to lead these other NATO allies, these other NATO countries. So we do need to stand up. We need to recognize that we are a very powerful nation, and because we are a powerful nation, we should be leading. We cannot allow others to fall because we choose not to lead.
Senator, thank you very much for your time, especially on this day.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.